What's up, guys? Tom back here for another video. Happy New Year 2017 January. Hope everyone is doing well. Yeah, everyone had a good and safe New Year's. Saturday mornings, hanging out, listening to some records. Figured I would come out and make a video. Hopefully lighting is good in here. It's really dark outside. It looks like it's about to snow. So this video is hopefully a quick video about my trip to Boston with my friend Jeff recently. It was kind of just like an off-the-cuff thing. He called me up, said, "Do you want to go up to Boston with me tomorrow?" I said, "Sure, why not? I'm not doing anything." So, Rob, I'm definitely going to come up there and hang out with you, just me and you. I tried to shoot you a message that day, but I knew it was kind of last minute, so I didn't think it would work out, but shoot me your number, and we'll hook up. Anyways, this is what I got. 6 records. Nothing too crazy. All were pretty much on my want list. And, yeah, let's just get into it. So this first one here I got at Weirdo, I think it's, or Cheapo Records, maybe. It's down the street from the Middle East. So any of you Boston guys, Rob, David, happen to see this, David Belson, Michael Justin, I don't know if you watch my videos, but any of you guys, let me know. Anyways, Michael Gary Jackson with Cowboys, Cartoons, and Assorted Candy. I believe this is his last solo record, I want to say, from 1982 on Enya. I got this sealed. What's the label? Yeah, I got it sealed for $4, so it's one I didn't have from him. Kind of different than his usual stuff where he plays with a band, other musicians. This is just him solo, him and his guitar. It's really beautiful, passionate, heartfelt, and singing, songwriting. Yeah, I really love the songs he wrote on this stuff about just all kind of stuff, from life to the American dream to just worth checking out. So I'll leave a couple links to tracks as I usually do, but really cool find what I didn't have from him, and happy to have it. Sorry guys, 1 second. I did make a few notes here just so I could remember the years that these were released in the labels, because usually I forget that stuff. Too much in my head, too much music. Anyways, next up, Bobby Naughton, Noxtagram. Been after this one for a while. A while back, John Coltrane's did, Chris put me onto this guy, and I loved it. He's a vibes player, vibraphone player. Recorded a lot in Connecticut, so always love local Connecticut music. This is from 1979 on Otic Records, or Otic, his own label. I believe most of the records on the label, or at least his records, do have this same label. So this is a quartet recording with Bobby Naughton on vibra harp, James Emery on acoustic and electric guitars, Cleve Pozar on percussion and marimba, and Wes Brown on bass. Cleve Pozar is always good as a percussion player. I love him. And him with Bobby Naughton are an awesome, awesome duo. Everything they do together I really like, so this was cool. Recorded in Southbury, Connecticut, so pretty cool. Yeah, it is avant-garde at times, a bit out there. Sometimes a bit more dialed back, a bit more slower, just him on the vibes. Doing solo, even meditative, spiritual-ish, spiritual-esque at times. Although I wouldn't call it totally spiritual music, if that makes sense. Anyways, great stuff. Definitely recommend checking out. I'll leave some tracks, but happy to have this one. Another one that was on the list. Just could never find it for whatever reason, so. And this one and the next two, actually, I picked up at a store called Stereo Jacks, which I really enjoyed. They had a lot of cool records in that shop. A lot of stuff, you know, that isn't too expensive, but I just really wanted, so. Same thing with this here. This is exactly what we're listening to. If you could hear it in the background, this is Leo Smith with Spirit Catcher from 1979 on Nessa Records. This was actually produced by and engineered by Rudy Van Gelder, or produced by Chuck Nessa, but engineered by Rudy Van Gelder. So that's cool. And it does sound good. 3 tracks. So in essence, what this is, by looking at it, you might think it's just a Leo Smith record, solo Leo Smith, but in actuality, it's a New Delta Acre record, which, if you don't know, that was his group. Basically, back in the 70s, they released a lot of great recordings. So, in this lineup, you have Leo Smith on trumpet and flugelhorn, Dwight Andrews on clarinet, sax, and wooden flute, Bobby Naughton, once again from the previous record, on vibraharp, Wes Brown on bass, also from previous record, and Ferone Akloff on drums, great drummer as well. And then on one track, you have a trio of harpists, 3 harpists. I think they're all sisters. Irene Emanuel, Carol Emanuel, and Ruth Emanuel. Yeah. So, the side A is the track Images. Basically takes up the entirety of side A. Kind of a nice split between composition and improvisation. I think Leo Smith was always good at doing that kind of splitting those two, and making great use of space on his records where nothing is really, you know, lost, no kind of noodling. At least that's just my opinion. That's how I feel about his playing, but I'm just a big fan of his, so, you know, could be a little bit biased. But side B on track 1, The Burning of Stones, is the one that has the 3 harpists, which is conducted by Dwight Andrews and then Leo Smith on trumpet. Great stuff. It has more of a African and Japanese feel, because I believe some of the instruments, some of the harps are actually African and Japanese, not your traditional harps, but great stuff. And then the last track to round out is the title track, Spirit Catcher. More great avant-garde jazz stuff from Leo Smith. So really happy to have this. Once again, what out of Leo Smith. If you've watched my channel for probably any amount of time, you know that I'm a fan of his. Really happy to have that. And the last one here I picked up is Stereo Jacks. Ended up being another one that I've wanted, like I said, for a long time. Just not expensive, not hard to find, just never came across it. So the Errol Parker Tentet with Live at the Woolman Auditorium. This is from 1985 on Sahara, I believe. I think it's his own. It might be his own label, I don't know, but most of his records are on that label. So I got this one sealed as well. Really cool. Most times when I say Errol Parker, they think of Errol Garner, but this is a totally different player. He totally different guy. He's been around for a while as well. This record in particular is free jazz, but definitely not your kind of out there crazy free jazz. Different than what this is. This is a lot more rhythmic, so maybe more avant-garde jazz, a lot more rhythmic, funky. Mostly electric jazz, but funky at times. Like I said, not too out there, but always full of energy, always going strong the whole way through. Multiple soloists playing together, so really cool. He plays piano as well, although on this he just stuck to the drums, where I believe his drumming had a much more, I guess, African kind of vibe, African rhythm, which kind of led the group in that same style. The music is definitely African influenced at times, and I would also say Afro-Latin as well at times. 4 of the compositions were his own, 4 of his own tracks, and he did the track, or they do the track, excuse me, 3 Blind Mice as well, which I don't know who did that originally, who composed it, but I know Art Blakey and his crew did it, so. Ferretti and Creator, I'm not sure. And then last track was one of Carlos Jobim's, Antonio Carlos Jobim. They did the track, where is it? Chega de Saud. So, if you know that track, there you go. Like I said, free jazz, but not too out there, not too crazy, a lot more kind of rhythmic. Actually, you know what? Let's put this on, because I don't think that there is a sample of this one. Let's take out the Leo Smith, and we'll do a quick needle drop, because I definitely don't do enough needle drops in my videos. I just had too much bullshit in the past with, you know, my videos getting flagged just for the stupidest stuff, so music, just trying to play a little bit, so I'd rather just not deal with it, but I don't think anyone's going to be flagging this. Hope. Knock on wood. Let's knock on wood that doesn't happen. So this is the Errol Parker Tentet, and yes, 10 players, mostly young players too, mostly a group of young players. I think by his own admission, he said the older guys wouldn't really keep up with the style of playing that he wanted to do, so that's why he went with mostly younger guys. So here we go. You guys can hear that. This is just starting from the first track, track 1. It's called The Dancer. Just let this play through. So I don't think I showed you guys the lineup. There's the glare. But anyway, lineup. If you guys want to pause that, take a look. Come on. Sorry, just want to go back in the sleeve. Should probably take the shrink off it, but you know. Alright, moving on. These last two I ended up picking up at In Your Ear, not the Harvard Square location. This was at the, I think, Commonwealth Avenue location. It's not the Harvard Square location, the other one. So, once again, you Boston guys, let me know. Another one, been on my want list for a while, never found a clean copy or decent copy. Santo Jackson and the Decoding Society with Barbecue Dog. It's from 1983 on Antilles. Basically, if you don't know Santo Jackson, he's a drummer, another drummer percussionist. So, mostly his music comprised of like free jazz, avant-garde jazz, and funk. So like a funky free jazz kind of thing. If you can imagine. There's the printed inner sleeve. Same as the cover. Love that cover too. Love that picture. Kind of weird, crazy, but there's the group. So on here you have Melvin Gibbs, Zane Massey, Henry Scott, Santo Jackson, and Vernon Reed, and then Reverend Bruce Johnson. And then this one actually is cool, which I didn't even notice until I got home and looked at it in the light. It's actually a purple, which you probably can't see, because like I said, it's really only really visible when you look at it in the light, but, or like, you know, you can see the light through it, but it is a really dark purple. It's not black, probably just looks black on camera, but there's the label. Yeah, really cool. Like I said, funky free jazz, free funk, maybe, if that's a thing. Sure, why not? Could be a thing. I know I've heard it before somewhere. Yeah, Santo Jackson. I know I've heard his name mentioned the VC before. Just don't know how many people are into his style of playing. I know it's not for everyone. Not everyone likes his stuff, but I think it's great. This record, the one before this was called Man Dance, also really, really great. So, it's that one. And then to finish it off, this is probably the best one that I found. Been after this one for a long time as well. Big cross off my want list. Right here, you guys probably noticed if you saw it. This Ornette Coleman with Chappaqua Suite. I think it's how you pronounce it. Probably mispronouncing, but Chappaqua Suite. Yeah, recorded in '66, I believe, on CBS. This is a 1967 UK pressing, just a year later, on CBS as well. The label, really clean vinyl. Really happy to have this. I said I picked this up at In Your Ear. So what this was supposed to be was, I forgot. This is upside down. There's the inside. It's supposed to be a soundtrack for a movie. There's some of the pictures. Yeah. So Ornette Coleman was asked to compose music for this movie that Conrad Rooks was directing, making. The movie is basically about a guy that's coming off drugs, withdrawing from drugs, and it's just kind of a really out there, psyched out, crazy movie about that. You just have to watch it. Yeah, just worth checking out. That sounds like your thing. I love movies like that, so if you enjoyed it. So what ended up happening when it came time to put the music in the movie was, I guess Conrad Rooks, yeah, I guess I don't know if he really liked the music or something, but he didn't want it to like overpower the movie, so he ended up going with Ravi Shankar's music instead. And then they ended up putting this out just as a separate album. It's an album by itself, so kind of interesting story there, but fantastic record for sure. I guess I kind of see why he did it, because the music is great. And I'll just tell you some of the players on here. This was recorded in 3 days, by the way. It was recorded in 3 days, so keep that in mind if you go listen to it. But so recorded June 15th, 1965. So you have Ornette, David Izenzon. I always have a problem pronouncing his name, but there's no who he is. Bassist. Played with plenty of people for years. I think he played with, was it Monk or Mingus a lot? Who he was played with? I don't know. One of those guys. Anyway, drummer Charles Moffett. Pharoah Sanders on here, so you got Pharoah. And then it says 11 other studio musicians, very fine studio musicians, and it doesn't name the 11 other musicians, so it might be out there somewhere, I don't know. I haven't really looked, but yeah, so you have those guys, and then whoever else played on here, but fantastic, fantastic. Just imagine free jazz type stuff, definitely been out there at times, but just go check it out. Definitely one of my favorites from Ornette. Not the easiest thing to find, at least around here, so that's why I was so happy when I finally found it. Was a bit pricey, definitely the most expensive one that I found, but it made the trip worth it. I mean, even without going to your ear and finding this, the trip would have been worth it, just picking up all the previous ones, but it was just kind of like, look, the cherry on top, I guess, you know, just to finish the day off strong. So, Jeff, if you see this, thank you very much for taking me, man. I really appreciate it. Awesome score. I know you might have been thinking about grabbing that one too, so I'm glad you didn't. Yeah, that's it, guys. And it's not as short as I wanted it to be, 16 minutes, closer to my usual length, but still, that's it for now. I will be back at some point soon with, I do have more stuff to show, so another update. Lots of great stuff. That's it. Have a happy new year. Leave me comments if you want. And I will talk to you guys later. Peace.